heard the term Zuckaissance? Zuckaissance!
No, what is
You haven't heard that?
No.
It's Zuck's Renaissance.
Huh. What is this?
You know, you've got this new look, the chains, the shearling jacket. Everything you do seems to become a meme.
At least make them good memes.
Right, well, it seems like you're leaning in on the joke more.
Then I think as I've gotten older, I'm just like, all right, whatever. It doesn't matter, right? It's like just kind of try to be myself as much as I feel comfortable being.
Mark Zuckerberg, the face of Facebook, has been under the bright lights for 20 years. On the offensive, buying Instagram, WhatsApp, and Oculus. And the defensive, battling a never-ending cascade of criticisms about the social, political, and business impacts of his expanding empire. Lately, though, Zuckerberg appears to be reinventing himself and his company. Meta's latest push is a major play to open-source AI, in contrast to closed-source competitors like OpenAI and Google. Zuckerberg predicts his company's newest AI models will have a profound impact on the progress of technology, business, and maybe the world. I've come to Meta HQ to get a glimpse of the real Zuck and the AI future he believes is the path forward.
So I found an article in the Harvard Crimson going back to 2003
Okay.
where you were talking about open source,
Okay.
like over 20 years ago.
Really?
So you've been thinking about this a really long time.
Well, yeah, it's a big part of the tech industry. I mean, you wouldn't have been able to build the early version of Facebook without that. I was a student, I didn't have access to a lot of capital. There's the whole kind of hacker mentality of you and they just take the code, use it for the thing that you need to. It's more cost efficient, and I mean, that's how you can start something like this in a dorm room.
Some people see you as an unlikely champion of open source today. You're laughing.
Well, I don't know why. I mean, I actually think, well, I get it, but yeah.
You understand the word unlikely.
Yeah. We've actually, at Meta, have been pretty big proponents of open source for a while. And it's been a really good formula for us. So dating back to how we design servers, how we design our data centers, we have this whole open compute project that kind of standardized a lot of the infrastructure for the industry. And that's going to happen with AI too.
You're really putting a stake in the ground by open sourcing your AI in this attempt to build the AI rails for the future. How much of this is a strategic way to control or own the next technology wave?
A lot of how we've grown up over the last 10 or 15 years was building our apps through phone platforms that our competitors controlled. So it's somewhat soul-crushing to go build something that you think is going to be good, and then just get told by Apple that you can't ship it because they want to put us in a box because they view us as competitive. You know, we're a big enough company now that one of the things that I've resolved is that for the next generation of technology, I want us to build and have more control over the next set of platforms that we're going to build. So I think AI is a critical one, and I think augmented and virtual reality is another critical one. It's kind of the way that we can control our own destiny on this and make sure that we have access to leading AI is by building it and having it become an industry standard, but it actually gets stronger by being able to share it and have the ecosystem around it.
You're continuing to improve Meta AI across all of your products, but also as a chatbot. Why should we use Meta over ChatGPT?
Well, there's a bunch of things where it's better. You know, one of the things that we're rolling out soon is the ability to just imagine stuff. You're typing something in real time. I do this with my daughters all the time. And as you're kind of typing and entering the query, it's just generating the images as you enter the keystrokes. It's just really cool. My goal for the Meta AI launch, which it's only really a few months old at this point, was to, by the end of the year, have Meta AI be the most used AI assistant in the world. And I think we're basically on track for that. I mean, there's hundreds of millions of people who are using it.
By the end of this year?
Yeah, and I think we're going to be there before the end of the year.
So you're releasing Llama 3.1, this family of models, big and small, including the biggest open source model ever, 405 billion parameters.
Yeah.
What does that jump unlock?
I actually think the main thing that people are going to do, especially because it's open source, is use it as a teacher to train smaller models that they use in different applications. If you just think about all the startups out there, or all the enterprises, or even governments that are trying to do different things, they probably all need to, at some level, build custom models for what they're doing. And it's really hard to do that with closed systems out there, whether that's OpenAI or Gemini, Google's thing, or whatever. And this is like, gets to a pretty core part of our philosophy is we don't believe there's going to be like one AI to rule them all. Our vision is that there's going to be millions or just billions of different models out there.
So not one God, but many? Is that the way to think about it?
Well, I don't think they're going to be gods, but I do think that to some degree, if you're like an organization and you think you're going to create like this one super intelligence, it does have this feel to me of like people trying to create a god, and that's just I find that both the wrong way to look at it, but just also very unappealing. You know, there's almost 200 million creators on our platforms. They all are trying to build their community. People want to interact with them. There aren't enough hours in the day. Like, I want to make it so that every single one of them can easily train like an AI version of themselves that they can make it what they want. So it's almost like a kind of artistic artifact that they're putting out there for their community that allows their community to interact with them, but also gives them control over how that interaction happens. And I think that that's going to be great. And there's going to be millions, or eventually hundreds of millions of those.
So let's get into the broader strategy and how this is all going to work. Like, will we have AI-generated influencers with AI-generated captions and avatars talking to avatars?
Yeah, I think we'll have all of it.
Do you want to create the first AI-generated social network?
Well, I think that will be part of this. But actually, one of the most interesting use cases that people have for Meta AI today, it's like in the top 4 use cases, is role-playing difficult social interactions that they're going to have. So whether it's in a professional context, like, okay, you want to ask your manager for a raise, or like, I'm having this hard conversation with my girlfriend or my friend.
I could have role-played this conversation with you
hopefully
today.
It's not, hopefully it's not stressful for you, but it's
super fun.
But like, it's a clear social tool where there's no judgment, right? The AI isn't sitting there. There's no like social repercussion for what you ask it.
But what evidence do you have that people want to live in this virtual world and socialize with avatars? Or that it's actually good for us?
Well, I think that people want to connect with each other, right? I actually think like all the other stuff is generally noise. But all the technology allows you to do that in a better and better way. Right? When I got started with Facebook, it was mostly text. And then there's been this whole kind of like technological evolution where we got smartphones that we could primarily be taking photos, and then the mobile networks got good, so then you could be kind of sharing video, and video is a lot richer, and consuming video is a better experience. I just don't think that's the end of the line.